Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Woohoo.
It's Friday. It's been a long week. Wow, has it ever been? Oh, all right. Where do we want to start today? I was just going through my newsfeed on my email, and as usual, I don't get too far, but I just grabbed the first two things that caught my eye. One of them, do you want to pull up this
Yeah.
stuff? Oh, okay.
Oh, which one? Wrong one.
No, that's fine. So however you pronounce them, Versea. So this caught my eye because this company's got a 3-layer amniotic membrane product without a ring. Haven't looked at any kind of scientific data on that yet, but it sounded interesting. And I think we're kind of seeing across the board, both in devices and drugs, bit of a stampede into biologics, and just huge potential there. I think everyone knows from me talking about this all the time that we have concerns about things that aren't being regulated or tested properly. So we've been very active in educating in that space. But the membranes are a part of the biologics world that has, for various reasons, kind of less regulation than others because just lower on different types of risks. So those are managed a little bit differently, and they seem to have lots of potential in like wound healing situations, especially. The other thing that I noticed on their list of products, if you don't mind scrolling down a little bit, Aiden,
Totally.
on there, yeah, they talked about was diagnostic tests. I don't really keep up that much with dry eye diagnostics stuff. I guess I just kind of got more confidence in the skilled providers to figure out which diagnostics they want to use than in fancy technology. But to the extent that specialized expertise isn't as distributed as we would like it to be, to kind of all of the eye doctors out there having diagnostics that can help with overlooked areas could be really helpful. And so anyway, one of their things that caught my eye was where they talked about some diagnostic test that helps, they say, to differentiate allergic conjunctivitis from other forms. Where is it here? They say it's really relatively impossible to differentiate mild allergic conjunctivitis from dry eye. And they had other things they're addressing there too. But I just feel like that is a thing that comes up now and then in our groups and on the helpline, is these overlaps of dry eye with other things and the need to get help sorting it out. Anyway, so that was their stuff. Then this next one was a study. I've always been kind of obsessed with epidemiology, and especially the things that get into age and dry eye. So this study in Taiwan looked at 15 years worth of people being diagnosed with dry eye and what's changed since between 2001 and 2015. And one of their main findings in this study was that men between 20 and 39, there's 3 times as many of them that are being diagnosed with dry eye now, or rather in 2015, which is 7 years ago. So we don't know where we are exactly now. And that's really the time frame that awareness of dry eye has been exploding, but also where we've got generations growing up on iPhones and all the impact of device usage on top of other environmental and lifestyle factors and things. There's a huge need for more talk and education more than anything else about prevention and lifestyle factors that contribute to dry eye. And I think when the TFOS lifestyle workshop thing wraps up, that's going to be a really good tool to get talking more about lifestyle and dry eye too. Anyway, that's all I've got from my news feed today.
Oh.
Let's see, you want to bring us up to date on events?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've got our Dry Eye Zoom group this afternoon. I checked the registrants, so it looks like it's going to be kind of our normal crowd, but always looking to meet more people. Next week, I have my millennials group, and thanks, Rebecca, for spotting someone on Facebook who was younger and kind of in need of some support, because I've got 2 people registered for that so far. I don't know either of them, so I'm going to talk to my regular people and see if we can get some good collaboration going. But while we're at it, let me just go to dryfoundation.org/calendar.
Gosh, I had a terrific time at the mental health group on last Monday. I still haven't sent a follow-up email after that. I meant to. I'm still having to remind myself how our system works. But, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's see. Scleral Lens group, did anyone show up yesterday?
No, and on the one hand, I was bummed, and on the other hand, I was so thrilled because I was so swamped yesterday. It was like, whoopee, I get a free hour to finish up working.
I know what that's like. Yeah, and then Ruth in the UK had to skip this week, so she's doing her UK group next Thursday, the 20th at 6 p.m. London time. I think we're coming up on daylight savings time too next month, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
Have to think about that.
Weekend in November.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca, you've also got Incomplete Lid Closure group next Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Next Friday, right.
Yeah. So.
And then the following week, I think we would normally have our dry eye group, but we're going to be gone, right?
Oh.
I was looking at the schedule today and realizing that.
How did that happen? Oh, it's because the first Friday wasn't until the 7th. Okay, we're gonna have to cancel that. Yeah, and then you've got mental health and RCE the final week of the month.
Ooh, that's the same.
Picking up a lot of Zooms. Yeah.
That's gonna be a really busy week.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good reminder on that. Okay. All right. So that's events. I think I'm behind on putting some links in the YouTube chat here, so I'm going to do that. Let's see. What else we got?
All right. Well, gosh, sometimes these weeks just go by in a blur, and I honestly can't remember whether I talked about this last week or another time after the American Academy of Ophthalmology meeting or not, but we are kicking into high gear on fundraising for our helpline. And, this is something that's just always been volunteer staffed, but we can't do it that way anymore. So we have to have administrative support on the helpline. And now that we're working hard to get the word out to more doctors too, we're seeing more people contacting us with needs. So we're out there looking for financial support for the helpline. We keep our costs. We're really careful about costs, but we have some for technology. Most of the cost on the helpline really is staffing at this point, and some outreach too. We've got costs associated with showing up to the meetings and then sending out packets of brochures and things to doctors. So that fundraising is partly, you'll be seeing some drives on social media and in email to fundraise specifically for the helpline. And that's just general donations for it. But we're also working with corporate partners, if I can put it that way. Anyway, companies that are working in the dry eye space, that are manufacturing something or other for our world, and that seem to take a real interest in this particular project. And so we talked to several companies at the Academy meeting a couple of weeks ago, and got 2 of them so far that are actually really excited about participating in this. So really grateful to them, and we'll be probably making some announcements a little later in the year about who they are and how they're helping us. And we've got some others that have expressed some really strong interest too, that we're keeping up a dialogue with. And yeah, this is going to put us into a really new space for us in 2023. We're looking at hiring a full-time administrative assistant. We don't really know what the title is going to be. It's probably something kind of more advanced than that, but looking for that really strong administrative support for the foundation generally, and then specifically for the helpline program too. So I might be a little premature talking about this today, but that's what we're looking at for next year and it's exciting to have the prospect of just having professional support and here.
Yeah, we are kind of, I don't know, in a new stage, looking at a new direction with the foundation next year and getting through our growing pains. In the meantime, I was working on just end of the year financials. What's our fundraising goal that we should start talking about in our fundraising campaigns that we'll be doing. So trying to figure out how we,
like,
yeah.
how do we pay the bills next month versus year?
Yeah, so I'm working on our expenses and it's pretty manageable. I was putting it off for a couple days, but I think it's pretty easy to get a picture of what we need to get fundraised for the end of the year. And and everything else, we'll just tweak those other variables for getting more helpline support. All right. Anything else? Ooh, I see more and more and more. Or is that from last week? Probably from last week.
Oh, I think that's last week.
Missing a heading. All right.
Yeah, I think I might have overridden it.
Yeah. So I think is that it for today?
Yeah, I think so.
Totally. We've got plenty to do. Join us at 3 if you're available. And yeah, we've got our work cut out for us today.
Oh, I guess there is one other thing.
Oh yeah, what's that?
This happened since the last one, didn't it? The FDA letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
Back on the biologics, I don't think, because we learned about this since last Friday, wasn't it just beginning of this week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something we've been anticipating and been telling people that we're expecting for some time, is that the FDA, who have been gradually ramping up on biologic eye drops businesses, and we've seen 2 warning letters so far to manufacturers, but finally there is a letter that has gone out to Regenerize. That was a week ago. Was it Wednesday or Tuesday? And it's not the full-blown warning letter, because for them to do that, they have to actually perform the inspection and go through a lot of formalities first. But this was the letter to say, gosh, we can tell even from what you used to have all over the internet that this is a biologic drug. And here's why you can't do that, because you can't sell biologic drugs without proving that they're, in FDA lingo, safe, pure, and potent, as in, you got to test this stuff first. You can't just bottle it up and sell it, people. So that was the FDA's polite little way in their letter of getting that message out loud and clear. And I'm immensely grateful that they did that, because we've been out there saying exactly that all this time, based on FDA regs and based on everything that FDA has been specifically telling us. But it's a very different thing when it's out there in print, right from the horse's mouth. And I really am grateful to our community too, because I believe that the sheer volume of patients, as well as doctors, that have called the FDA about this since we started the biologiceyedrops.org website, have been huge contributors to the FDA taking this unusual step of getting that letter out there first before an inspection. So this represents huge progress to us. It was a little bit ironic that the very same day the FDA sent that to them, the company sent the Dry Eye Foundation a cease and desist letter telling us, stop talking about us. So just kind of amusing timing. But anyway, please have a look at that letter. And what I would really like to ask everyone, whether or not you have ever used Regenerize, whether or not you care about Regenerize, I would just like to ask that everyone print that thing off or get a link and share it with your doctor. This information is not well known. Doctors believe Regenerize to be okay because it has become normalized and they're seeing it everywhere. But we know, and this is now proven by the extra clearly with the FDA's letter, that there are serious issues out there. So please share the letter. And I think that's all I've got for today.
Sounds good. I'll put a link on YouTube for that letter. Okay.
Great. Hope to see people's after